but I'm lucky to also have a background in exercise sports science, and my master's is in nutrition. So I used to teach at a previous university I coached at. So I have a lot of lectures on fitness, wellness, nutrition, and I put something together to share so that you guys can gain some knowledge in fitness and nutrition, and maybe get some ideas from you guys if you want some other aspects of nutrition or fitness in the coming weeks. But I'm going to share a PowerPoint with you, and I will save time for questions after. And if you have any questions during, please use the chat at the bottom. You guys have probably done Zoom several times with your classes online, but if not, there's a chat button here on the bottom, and you can click on that and ask any questions you have, and I can open that up and see your questions. So, but I'm going to go ahead and start with the PowerPoint, and I'm going to share the screen with you so you can see the PowerPoint as we go along. And I will, I'll go through these PowerPoints and just kind of give you guys maybe some questions that you might want to ask afterwards, or, you know, a lot of this is going to be real familiar to you. It's, it might be something that you learned in a college course of yours already, or even some of it in high school, but a good refresher for any wellness and nutrition information and some helpful tips as well. So wellness it's a state of healthy living. Based on the lifestyle you choose, we all want to be well overall. And with what's going on now today in these uncertain times, we all hope to be getting rid of this COVID virus soon, but it is at its peak or reaching its peak. So we all want to make sure we stay healthy. So state of healthy living includes regular physical activity, proper nutrition, which is really key to staying healthy and fit as well. Elimination of unhealthy behavior, so avoiding high-risk activities like smoking. Especially with the COVID virus, I know they have pointed out that smoking is really detrimental to those that do get the virus. So that is a high-risk activity overall. And then maintaining a positive emotional health, you know, managing your stress, which right now, I know we're all a little stressed over this, and it's not normal routine for us. A lot of drastic changes occurred about a month ago. So this is all new to us, and it's new to most everybody living today. We haven't gone through this in a long time, anything like this. So it's very new to everybody. Also maintaining positive spiritual health. If you have a higher belief or believe in something higher than you, then you know that tends to help overall wellness. So there are 6 components of wellness. The first is physical health, which includes everything, you know, some of the things we just talked about: physical activity, proper nutrition, performing self-exams like breast exams are important to do, and practicing personal safety, wearing your seatbelt, wearing a helmet on a moped, brushing your teeth, flossing your teeth. That's all personal safety. So that's all under the physical health component and part of wellness. Another one is emotional health or mental health, which includes your social skills, all your relationships that you're building. And tough today because you're losing a lot of the relationships that you normally have. And with this social distancing, which is very new to everyone, social distancing is really tough. I think if we didn't have the internet, we didn't have things like Zoom to see people and have conversations with people, it'd be very difficult. Having those positive relationships with people keeps your emotional health overall well. And also self-esteem, having strong self-esteem, being happy, and being able to cope with stress. Some stress is good. You know, things like going to prom, going to take a test is healthy stress. We do have that in our daily lives, and it's okay to have that healthy stress in our lives. but coping with stress and the ability to cope with a lot of stress like we are right now is a test, and it's been challenging to everyone. Intellectual health, keeping your mind active throughout your life. So you guys are in college now and you take courses now. You're actively involved with various courses for your major. Some of you are taking courses outside of your major. And some of you are getting ready to graduate and taking those upper division courses. So keeping your mind active through that is really beneficial. But as you get older, you tend to lose that activity with your mind. So it's important to pick other things as you get older to keep your intellectual health. So a lot of people do crossword puzzles or Sudoku or reading, just reading in general. So just keeping your mind active throughout your life. And there's also college courses that older people can take. You don't have to be a college student to take college courses. So intellectual health is just one of those components of wellness. Spiritual health, which we touched on, having a sense of meaning and purpose in life. This is important to people that overall want to share with a community in a church, or with community that they might belong to a run club, for instance, or a team in college, or they might belong to a bridge club or a book club, but keeping that sense of purpose and having purpose in life. You know, a lot of people believing in a higher being and attending church is spiritual health for them. Social health, developing and maintaining good relationships and knowing when those relationships are not well and choosing to stick with those that are is very important to your social health. This is a big one in college because you do develop a lot of relationships in college, and some of them will last a lifetime and some of them will not. But the ones that will last a lifetime are the ones that are truly meaningful. Environmental health is the sixth one. This is really big now because of all that's going on, and April is health, environmental, what is it called? Earth Day, right? It's Earth Month. So they used to have Earth Day and now it's called Earth Month. So the whole month of April is Earth Month. So just being environmentally conscious of what you're doing and how you're participating and keeping the environment healthy is big. So whether you recycle, whether you reuse things and you're not wasteful, biking, walking, taking a bus instead of driving. So all of that can include environmental health, but it also influences your own health as well, and the behaviors that you have and the effect on the environment. So there's wellness goals for a lot of people are different, but the US government actually has goals for the nation, and they put these out every 10 years. So every decade, they come out with new goals for the nation. A lot of it has to do with health disparity and providing health care for all people, reducing cancers, certain cancers that can be preventable, increasing physical health and physical activity for all, things like that are part of the wellness goals for the nation. They're called Healthy People 2020, 2030, 2040, and I provided a website there. It's actually it's really neat to look at what the different health goals are and to see if they achieve them in that decade. So I added some national goals for COVID because it's been such a big deal lately. There's a lot of goals that you hear about on the news all the time. And unfortunately, I think the media has scared a lot of people, but it is scary, and it's scary for people that are at high risk of getting it, especially those on the front lines in the medical field. So a lot of the goals that they have for the rest of us to really help contribute to decreasing the numbers that we're seeing with COVID, stay healthy, right? Stay healthy yourself by staying home, sheltering in place, working remotely, not going out unless you have to. Those are all conducive to bringing these numbers down. Wear masks and gloves when you go out to the grocery store, going through the airport, Flying, which I know a lot of people are not doing right now, but anywhere you're going in public where there might be more people, you want to make sure you wear a mask. And gloves are helpful because, again, the COVID virus is actually, it does stick to surfaces and it doesn't go away very quickly. So that's a huge goal that the nation has had during this pandemic. Just helping curb the increased cases just by adhering to your state mandates. As of yesterday, not all the states had a shelter in place or shelter at home mandate, but I think they're being strongly encouraged to do so. But it does help curb the increasing numbers. Washing your hands thoroughly. I don't know if you guys have seen, they have like YouTube clips on how to wash your hands thoroughly. And it's amazing that people, you know, you just wash your hands quickly and they say to either sing happy birthday while you're washing your hands or count 20 seconds. But it's important to wash your hands thoroughly so you're not spreading the disease and getting sick yourself. And then managing stress with exercise. You can still exercise. And it's actually, I'm wondering if people are going to exercise more with this because they're going to get so sick of being inside, they're going to want to get outside and do something. So while there are jokes about I'm going to gain so many pounds because I have to stay at home and I can't go out, versus what if people end up losing weight because they start going outside and being active because they just want to get out of the house. So I wonder if that's going to change, but I do hope that people are exercising in some way. I see a lot of dog walking, a lot of walking in the park, a lot of walking along the beach, but it's helpful to manage that stress with exercise. So a lot of benefits of regular exercise, we all kind of know these, and it's nice to be reminded of because it's motivation to continue exercising if you already do. So improved psychological well-being. I do know statistics, a lot of studies out there say that exercise helps with depression, anxiety, and just overall psychological well-being. So really helpful to improve that area with regular exercise. Increased longevity. I don't know how long you guys want to live. I want to live pretty long. So I think everybody says, man, I hope I live to be 100. Some people don't want to live that long. But I think if you're in college now, college age students now, you know, I think you're going to be seeing 120. And that seems so crazy now, but it's possible. And exercise helps with that. Maintenance of working capacity during aging. So I know you all don't want to work until you're 90. No one does. But wouldn't it be nice to, once you're retired, be able to do work around the house or help with your grandchildren or great-grandchildren, play with them, go on trips with them, travel more after you retire. And that all has to do with taking care of yourself leading up to that. So exercise is a huge factor in the aging process and what you're able to do and what you're capable of doing as you age. So you want to live a really healthy life for as long as you can, and you don't want to live several unhealthy years before you pass. So some people live 10, 20 unhealthy years before they pass, and that's not as exciting. So you want to exercise regularly and take care of yourself so you can do that. Increased bone mass. This is actually really important for college age because you guys are still gaining bone density. So at the age of about 25, your mid-20s, you stop producing that strong bone mass. So do everything you can now until the age of about 25, because from there it starts slowly dwindling. So the things that you're doing right now are actually building that bone mass density, and you want it to be as dense as possible. So again, exercising helps with that, especially resistance training. Anything that's that is weight bearing is really helpful to increase your bone mass. Reduced risk of diabetes and heart disease. These are two main killers in the US. Heart disease, #1. And women are actually catching up to men in this. It used to be a big discrepancy with men and women, and now it is not. So this is a huge factor with reducing the risk of diseases, certain diseases, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, certain cancers. So regular exercise really helps with that. There are 5 major components of the health-related physical fitness. So one of them is cardiorespiratory endurance, and that's just how fit you are. So can your body pump blood to muscles during exercise efficiently? And the more efficiently your body is able to do that, the more fit you are. Of course, a lot of your endurance events really help with this. So your running, swimming, and cycling are more beneficial. This is also called aerobic fitness. It's more commonly called aerobic fitness. Muscular strength is the second one, how much force a muscle generates during one maximal contraction. So this is often called the 1 RM or 1 rep max. And this is really beneficial with weight or resistance training. So you gain muscular strength when you do more than normal, which is adding weight to your normal weight. So it can be body resistance training and doing push-ups against your own body weight, or adding weights in a strength training routine. And then we have muscular endurance, which is the ability of a muscle to generate a submaximal force repeatedly. So you don't gain as much muscular strength doing this, but it also gives you a fit look without maybe gaining a bunch of muscle mass. So some people want to gain muscular endurance, but not muscular strength because they don't want to look big. But again, push-ups, crunches, body squats, using your own weight is a really good way to increase your muscular endurance. Flexibility is super important, especially as you age. You do lose flexibility as you get older. So work on that now, keep maintaining it, because, you know, you're going to find that as you age, you lose the flexibility and the range of motion that you have in your joints. So things like yoga, Pilates, just a normal stretching routine, especially after you exercise, is very important because it also prevents injury while enhancing that range of motion. And the last one is body composition, which this is your relative amounts of fat and lean tissue. So if you have a high percentage of body fat, which is otherwise known as obese, okay, so if you have obesity or you are obese, that again leads to the high risk of cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, some cancers, and this is something that you want to keep to a normal level so that you are not at high risk of these diseases. And of course, regular physical activity and exercise and proper nutrition is key to maintaining a healthy body fat. So if you're looking to change some of the ways or enhance your lifestyle and go towards a better overall wellness mind or overall wellness and healthy living, then you may have to have some behavior changes. So one way to do that is to really make yourself liable for what you're trying to change. So listing goals and planning out what you want to do and how you want to make those changes. You can have somebody read it and sign it so that you know that you're responsible for doing that, or set up your own contract, sign it, and have somebody else witness it so that they see what your goals are and they're there to support you as well. Set realistic goals though. So these are called SMART goals, and they can be short-term and long-term, but you want to make sure that they're specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and they have a time stamped on them. So you want to be really specific about the changes you want to make and make sure that they're measurable so that you can reward yourself if you do reach that goal. And it doesn't have to be one goal. It can be several small goals leading up to that one big goal. Self-monitoring. This is tough because you're your own worst enemy. So you want to analyze your behavior and identify the triggers that you have. Some of your triggers might be that, hey, I'm really tired. I don't have time to do it. I'd rather play a video game than go out and go for a walk or a run. And if you can identify triggers that set that, then maybe you can readjust and make sure that those triggers aren't being hit. So if you have a friend that might go out and do that with you, or maybe you have a friend that actually pulls you into those bad habits, then maybe you can get them on board too, which would help you. Counter conditioning, replacing unhealthy behaviors with healthy ones. So if you smoke, don't smoke. If you're not wearing a seatbelt when you ride in a car, wear a seatbelt. If you're not wearing a helmet when you ride a moped, wear a helmet. So replace those unhealthy behaviors with healthy ones. You don't have to do it all at once. Just pick one at a time and choose those healthy ones. Self-reinforcement is rewarding yourself. So every time you meet a goal, you can reward yourself. It can be with food. It can be with a new pair of shoes. It can be with being able to go to a concert that you've been wanting to go to. And if you reach a goal, you get to go to this event. So any self-reinforcement really helps with that behavior modification. Decisional balance, weigh the positive outcomes against the negative. So if you kind of reach a point where you're thinking, oh gosh, I don't know if I can continue doing this. It's really not benefiting me at all. I've only been doing it a week, but I don't feel any different. You have to give it time. We don't see these changes overnight. So you got to weigh the positive outcomes with the negative attitudes that you might have. So thinking about how you're going to feel after you do the workout. Think about how you're going to feel after you eat a good meal instead of a really bad one. So decisional balance is important to these behavior modification strategies. And then relapse prevention. So identify those high-risk triggers and develop a plan to avoid them. So like I said, if you have a friend that causes these bad habits, that's a trigger. So identify that trigger as that person actually is inhibiting me from getting to where I want to be and hitting this goal. So I need to get this person on board with me, and maybe they'll change too. Changing unhealthy behaviors. You can develop the plan of action. Like I said, you can develop the plan of action and make a contract, sign it, and have somebody witness it. Seek out resources. So right now, you guys aren't on campus, and most people aren't on campus right now. I know there still are some, but you have resources ready and willing to help you. And I know these resources are still available to you at HPU if you need them. So counselors on campus, I know that they're still available to you if you need to seek counseling. They can really help kind of give you a different aspect of things. If you don't know, you're kind of stuck and you don't know how to get out of a situation, or you get really anxious about things and you need to figure out how, what's triggering that anxiety and how you can change those triggers. So counselors can really help with those sort of things. Fitness specialists. So you might go into the campus rec over at ATM, the fitness center over at ATM, and there's always someone there at the front desk, and you can ask them some questions. They know information about fitness. They know exercises that might be able to help you. And there's a lot of stuff on the whiteboards that can help as well. And I know the campus rec director, Dominique, is putting up a lot of things on their Instagram. So if you want to join in to things that they're doing, they put up a lot of good, helpful information and good tips on staying fit through all this. Assess your habits. So we all have bad habits. Some people have habits that are really unhealthy, and some of us have habits that are just, they're not that bad, but we can improve on them. So think about the habits that you have and the ones that you'd like to change. And it can be a small bad habit, but it's something that maybe bothers you and you'd like to change and you just haven't done it yet. Think about ways that you can do that. And again, identify your barriers. A lot of people say time is a barrier. I think a lot of people complain about not being able to clean their house and organize and, do the things that they've always been wanting to do. And now that we're all sitting at home, maybe we have time to do this stuff. So if you've been wanting to start a project that you really haven't had the time to do, you probably have more time now. So do it now. Don't wait. And put away those negative perceptions and start thinking positively about that. And there's what's called shaping, which is breaking a task or behavior into small little steps to accomplish a larger goal. So again, breaking these up in small steps and small goals that you can reach pretty often, so that the large goal doesn't seem so far away. So shaping makes changes seem less overwhelming, and increasing physical activity in small amounts on a routine basis can really help, instead of saying, oh, I'm gonna change my whole diet and I'm gonna cut out this, and this. You can't do it all at once. So picking small things at a time is helpful. This is just an example of an individualized program to increase your physical activity. So you can see activity time on week 1, 2, and 3, lunch break, study break. But then on Mondays, you see a set of crunches, a set of push-ups, a set of dips. On Tuesday, you might go for a walk or do some yoga. And you can see that each week it increases what you're doing. So on Monday, you're doing 1 set of those, but then on week 3, you're doing 2 sets. And then on Tuesdays, you're doing a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk, and then, the yoga is increasing as well. So that's just a very basic example of how to implement a program to increase physical activity. And then nutrition. You have the regular physical activity side, and exercising is really important to overall wellness, but nutrition is as well. And this nutrition is it's the study of food, right? And food is vital to our health. And if we don't eat food, we don't have energy, because calories are energy. So there are 6 classes of nutrients that we go by. And these 6 classes, 3 of them are macronutrients and 3 are micronutrients. And the macronutrients are the ones that give us calories. So carbohydrates, first and foremost, they provide a major source of fuel for the body. This can be super controversial, because you hear all those low carb diets. People hear that I have a background in nutrition, and they automatically ask me, well, what do you think about those low carb diets? They're terrible. They're terrible. So the reason they're terrible is because your heart and your brain actually only function on carbohydrates. So if you don't get carbohydrates, they won't function properly, and you won't be able to function properly months at a time or weeks at a time. You might last for a week on no carbs, but it's not going to make you feel good. So carbohydrates actually provide a major source of fuel for your body. And if you don't get carbohydrates in, then you're not going to feel good at all. You do burn carbohydrates first when you exercise. So it's important to store carbohydrates, which is called glycogen. And the carbohydrates that you want to focus on are the good carbs, which are actually called complex carbs. The bad ones are called simple carbs, and that's your sugars. So you want to stay away from the processed foods and the sugars, and you want to focus on whole grains, fruits and vegetables for carbohydrates. Fats actually yield more energy than carbohydrates, which is why if you eat a high-fat diet, it's also very high in calories, because fat is actually 9 calories per gram, whereas carbs and protein are only 4. So fats yield more energy, but they're very, very important to our cell parts. So the functioning of your mitochondria, synthesizing some of your chemical reactions. So fat is super important. It also it helps cushion your organs. So if you have no fat, then you can't cushion your organs, and they actually can be damaged because you're not carrying enough fat. So it is important to carry enough fat, and it can be about 20 to 30% of your diet, depending on where you are trying to lose weight, gain weight, etc. Protein is another macronutrient. Again, 4 calories per gram. It's the main structural material in your body. So it's linked. Protein are linked amino acids. So your amino acids are the things that end in INE: lysine, creatine. Okay. A lot of different amino acids that they sell in stores like GNC. So a lot of them actually you get through food. So if you eat a well-balanced diet, you don't need to take all these supplements. Vitamins actually do not provide energy. So this is one of those myths. A lot of people think that vitamins provide energy, and you can take vitamins for energy, but vitamins don't have any calories, so they actually can't provide any energy for you. They do enable a lot of chemical reactions in your body, and they actually also help release the energy and the calories from your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. So that's the mistaken identity of vitamins, is that they don't actually provide energy, but they help release energy from the food that you eat. And minerals are the inorganic compounds that are critical in your nervous system functioning. So these calcium, iron, things, zinc, those are all important to in your health as well. And then water, of course, is the sixth class, often forgotten, but so vital. Of course, you can survive on water for weeks at a time, but you don't want to just drink water. You also want to eat the calories so you have sustainability. But it does more than just regulate your body temperature. It is a medium for various functions, chemical reactions as well. And it actually makes up 60 to 70% of your body. So 60 to 70% of your body weight is water. And the more fit you are, the more water weight you actually have. So if you're more muscular and more lean, then you carry more water. If you're not as lean and you're obese, then you have less water in your body. Okay, so all these nutrients provide energy, they promote growth and development, they regulate body processes, and they have a lot of various functions. And there are RDAs for all of them. So these are the recommended intakes of the nutrients that are sufficient to meet most individuals. Now, if you are training for a marathon and running miles and miles a day, then you're going to want to take in more calories than the average person. That's not exercising or not exercising miles a day. So there are different calculations you can do to figure out how many calories you need in a day, but it's typical that women get 2,000 a day and men get 2,500. That is the typical RDA for calories. But if you exercise, it definitely goes up. Improving our diets. So some things that we can do: drink more water, eat more fruits and vegetables, control our portions, choose lean meats and more fish over the fattier meats, go for the low fat foods, don't go for the greasy foods, stay away from the fast food chains as much as you can, and cook more family meals because those tend to be healthier and of course brings your family together. And I'm sure a lot of people are doing more of that now, cooking family meals. It could be a good thing, and some it may be a bad thing, but I'm sure a lot of people are getting sick of cooking at home. And luckily we have a lot of restaurants that are open for takeout as well, but cooking at home tends to be healthier. So the more you cook at home, the healthier you're probably eating. And then just some common nutrition mistakes. I think these are always fun to hear because a lot of people make these mistakes and you may not realize what you're doing and how detrimental to your health it is. But not drinking enough fluids. Like I said, your body is made up of 60 to 70% water. So if you're not drinking enough fluids, then you're not replenishing the water that your body needs and is vital to your body. So drink water, drink a lot of water. Not choosing the most appropriate fluids. I could probably go on for an hour about this, but if you're choosing energy drinks, that's not healthy. Coffee is something that a lot of people drink, and in moderation, coffee can be okay. It's just that, are you drinking caffeinated coffee? If you're drinking caffeinated coffee, you really want to make sure that you're limiting to 1 or 2 cups a day, because the caffeine can actually inhibit absorption of other important minerals. And you don't want to inhibit the absorption of, say, iron, because iron is really important to your health. So drinking appropriate fluids is really necessary. If you're drinking coffee and you make it at home versus going to Starbucks and ordering, I'm not a coffee drinker, so grand latte, I don't know all the different names they have, but there are several, and you wouldn't believe the calories that are in those. So number one thing I tell people when they're trying to either lose weight or watch their calorie intake is stop drinking your calories. So it's okay to have some orange juice. It's okay to have some coffee, but stop drinking your 500, 600 calorie drinks that is, you know, a quarter of what you should be taking in for the whole day. So watch what you're drinking and stick to mostly water. Eating sporadic meals or just skipping meals. So college students, you guys love skipping breakfast. It's actually the most important meal of the day because you are basically famished when you wake up. So you've gone probably 12 hours without eating. So your body is in a semi-starvation state. So it's really important for you to get that very first meal as soon as you can. And eating sporadically, like not eating breakfast and then eating a very small lunch and then eating a large dinner is just not healthy. So keeping it more balanced is really the way you want to go. Inconsistent daily diet. So again, that's like the sporadic meals. You're inconsistent with what you're doing. So you might, as a college student, you might eat Monday through Friday regularly, and then on the weekends you're sleeping in till noon and you're often skipping breakfast and then having horrible lunch, and then you might be going out again on Saturday night, and instead of eating, you might be drinking. And that's not healthy because it's so inconsistent with what you're doing throughout the week. And it's not healthy to get your calories through alcohol and not get it through the food. And alcohol, by the way, is 7 calories per gram. So it's almost as much as fat and not as much as protein and carbohydrates. So when you do drink alcohol, you're actually adding a lot more calories than you think you are. Improper balance of food and nutrients. So like I said, the diets that are low carb, that's not a very good balance of getting the nutrients you need. So you really do need that balance of all the food groups. And if you balance out all your food groups and you eat a really well-balanced diet and you're eating pretty healthy throughout the day on a normal basis, on a regular basis, then you should be pretty healthy and be getting the nutrients that you need. If you're eating the same foods over and over every day, you eat the same thing for breakfast, the same thing for lunch, and you eat maybe 2 different dinners all week, and you just eat those dinners every day or every other day during the week, you're only getting those select nutrients and you're missing out on all the other nutrients. So say all the food you eat throughout the week doesn't have enough zinc, doesn't have enough iron, doesn't have enough protein. And then you become deficient in those because you're eating the same things over and over. So it's really important to pick different things. Making sure that you're eating enough calories. This is especially true of athletes. Athletes tend to not eat enough calories. They think that they're getting enough, but they're not eating frequently enough. So the trick to getting enough calories is actually eating more frequently. And it is healthier to eat smaller, more frequent meals throughout the day. Eating too many empty calories. Empty calories are dense foods that provide no nutrients. So your high fat foods that actually are not nutritious and don't carry much nutrients. And I'm going to kill some of your favorite foods here, but cake, pie, donuts, chips, ice cream, cookies. These have a lot of empty calories. So a cookie might be 150 calories, but you're not getting anything nutritious out of it. So definitely go for it once in a while. But if you eat ice cream every night, that's probably not going to end up being very healthy. Making food choices that inhibit growth and development. So again, the coffee, the huge grand lattes that people are getting at Starbucks, drinking a lot of caffeine throughout the day, which I've seen college students do. And I know some college students do that because I see them coming out of different Starbucks, right? They're coming out of Starbucks, then they're going to the tea place and getting tea. And it's you don't recognize that the caffeine that you're drinking is inhibiting the calcium that you're trying to develop. So you guys are still developing calcium and still developing strong bones. So that caffeine is actually inhibiting your growth and development. So, drinking coffee at an early age is really not healthy. Making drastic changes in your diet to alter your body composition, your body image. You see this in college as well. People making drastic changes to their diet and saying that they're going on a diet because they want to change their body composition. Changes don't happen overnight, and the most important thing is to do it in a healthy manner. So if you do want to lose weight, or if you want to gain weight, do it in a healthy manner. It's not going to happen all at once. Don't go get supplements and start taking all these supplements to gain weight and then change your diet drastically, and then you end up being deficient in a lot of nutrients. So you got to be careful with making drastic changes to your diet. Another drastic change to your diet would be going vegetarian or going vegan. If you have never done that, and you're a meat eater and you eat meat all the time, and then bam, all of a sudden you go vegetarian, you're going to be deficient in some nutrients, and that's going to inhibit some of your daily activity. So you really need to be careful making those drastic changes all at once. And then portion sizes. It's a huge common mistake for most Americans, the portion sizes that we eat. I think we think we're eating a right amount, but I put this on there because I think the dining hall is a huge factor in this. I think you can go to the buffet and you can get a plate, and then you can go back as many times as you want. And then you can actually leave with a to-go box. So you really need to be careful with the portion sizes that you're eating, and make sure they're mostly normal. And if you're choosing larger portions, then choose the healthier options, like the fruits and the vegetables and the salads. Choose that in large portions, and maybe the fries in a smaller portion. And then grocery shopping and meal prep. Grocery shopping is, a lot of mistakes can be made in the grocery store. And I always tell people a really good thing to remember when you grocery shop is to stick to the outer lanes. So the outer lanes are your produce, going through your produce and getting as much produce as you can. And then some of the other outer lanes might be your dairy or your meat. But think about everything in those middle lanes, all the processed foods that are in those middle lanes, right? The cereal aisle. I mean, we Americans literally have a cereal aisle. How do we have that many choices for cereal? But it's a lot of processed foods in the middle of the aisles. So be very mindful when you go down the middle aisles of the processed foods that you're choosing. And meal prep is really key. You can do a lot of meal prep on a Sunday and prep everything for the whole week, because as college students, you're super busy and you don't get to meal prep. You don't have as much time to meal prep every day. So doing it on a Sunday and getting most of it done so that you're ready to go, and it only takes you 20 minutes to cook your meal on a Monday, Tuesday night, the better for it. I added, this is the last slide. It's a smart supermarket shopping list, and it helps you kind of put all the food groups and making sure that you're choosing good foods for every food group. So this might be something really helpful for you to stick on your fridge or take a photo of with your phone and keep it on your phone. But food group like protein. The rule for protein, the protein food group, is choose lean proteins. So I listed a lot of the lean proteins that we have. Almonds, walnuts, peanuts, beans. Your chicken and turkey are lean. Your fish is lean. Peanut butter is a good protein. Tofu, tuna, quinoa. So those are really helpful protein items that are really beneficial to your health. So choose lean proteins. And then grains, you should make half your grains whole. That's the rule for the grain food group. Make half of them whole. So choose the whole grain pasta. Choose the brown rice over the white rice. Choose the whole wheat bread over the white bread. Fruits. Focus on fruits. Focus on fruit as a snack. So pack fruit in your bag for a snack. Those are really good snack foods, and a good way to get your fruit in for the day. And then dairy foods, choose low fat, calcium rich foods. So your cheese sticks are actually not that bad. Get the low fat ones if you can. Cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, almond milk, low fat milk. Those are better choices for dairy foods. Ranch is not. Vegetables, vary your vegetables. So make your plate colorful. So don't always choose the broccoli for a green vegetable. Choose the green beans, choose the asparagus, choose the Brussels sprouts. So don't always choose the same vegetable, because there are different vitamins and minerals in these different vegetables. So vary them. And then your healthy fats, choose heart healthy ones. So your nuts, your peanut butter, your avocados, your oils, even your eggs, your fatty fish is a healthy fat. So even sprinkling chia seeds in your yogurt or in your cereal is a good way to get some healthy fat and omega 3s. So dark chocolate is on there as well. That actually is a healthy fat, but it can't be milk chocolate. It's got to be dark chocolate. But these are all very good ideas for you to bring to the grocery store and pick these up, and maybe will help you go for the healthier foods and instead of the unhealthy foods. It's a good thing to keep and kind of look over as you grocery shop. And of course, they always say don't grocery shop hungry, because you choose the foods that you can just grab and pull out of a bag, right? Like chips. So go to the grocery store knowing what you want to get, go with a list and try not to veer off that list. And if you guys have any questions, you can put them in the chat. And I can see if I can answer any questions if you have any. I hope I didn't bore you guys. I hope it was good information.